Hi guys, so today we're just going to review some inks, and I don't know if it's a review much more. People asked me recently how I use my inks or what are different inks for, so I think that's a good place to be, especially since Crafter's Companion just came out with all their different ink pads. They have 3 or 4 different varieties, so I'll talk about that. I'll talk about what you want to use for alcohol ink markers, for watercolors, because different inks react differently with those kind of mediums, right? And there's so many different brands and things, so I'll show you what I have. Maybe mention a few brands that might not be in my hands, but my plan, hopefully, is to use some for blending, use some for stamping, just to show you the differences and how they work. And I just wanted to be on camera today because I haven't been on camera, I don't think, this whole time that I've had this channel. I don't know, but no makeup. And maybe you can hear I'm under the weather a little bit, but it's as good a day as any. So I'm just standing here in front of one of my or the only one I have, I guess, the wire rack that's here in my craft room, and the lighting's okay. Probably better than the lighting I used down there, because this tripod, I don't know what to do with it. But anyway, so we will get started. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I know this, if you're watching in the future, might be like out of sequence of what I might be mentioning, but yesterday I had mentioned something that, a comment that I had received in one of my videos, and all these nice people came out and were just very nice. So thank you guys for your comments. I really appreciate them. Yeah, it's very heartening. So thanks for saying you like what I do and how I do it. And I'm just me. I'm just here at home and working on things, learning just like you are. And so hopefully that's appreciated. And I guess we will get to what we're here for. Okay, guys, so my plan was to use the same paper so that everything's pretty much equal, so you can kind of see how these things work differently. I have Crafter's Companion stamping card. They sell it pretty inexpensively, but of course you have to order from Crafter's Companion, so it takes a little while to come in sometimes. Right now they're having their birthday week. If you've been watching, they've been having a bunch of ridiculous deals culminating yesterday, but I think they're still on today, and every day they've been giving out some free things. So check that out if you're interested at all in anything good. They are having some sales on their inks, but they're kind of like the ones they always have, so that's not the biggest wow, I don't think. I think they do come with trays though right now, so that's a nice added bonus. But I'm going to cut this up into squares or rectangle, I don't know, just some smaller pieces, because I don't want to work too long on each piece, right? But I do want to show you how they work. So as far as, let's say, basics, stamping, let's say you want to stamp an image and you want to color it in with alcohol ink markers, okay? So only alcohol ink markers, not water-based markers like Sukaneko or all these different brands, or even watercolor pens, okay? So I'm talking about alcohol ink markers like Copic, Spectrum Noir, Bic, Sharpie, anything that's alcohol ink. You want to use an alcohol-proof dye. Now, Spectrum Noir makes it easier, Crafter's Companion, because it says on there alcohol-proof dye. And most inks are dye inks. There's pigment inks, there's other, but anyway, they're Noir Black. They do have it in like Flagstone and other colors if you want to do like where you go ahead and use it, but then when you color it, it kind of fades away. It doesn't fade away, but it's not as noticeable, right, as the black edge. So some people do that because I guess it looks like, what do they call it? Like line-free coloring or whatever. But it ends up looking like you drew it instead of just coloring in an image. But just, they have lots of different colors. So what's interesting, and it's killing me that I can't find it, they also have a finesse, but it says waterproof ink. So this is the alcohol proof ink. This is what you would use like if you want to use your Spectrum Noirs, just like this show there. You can use things like Memento. There's other brands, and people can mention them here what they like to use. Tuxedo Black, there's like a brown, gray, what's it called, gray fog or something. Anyway, lots of different colors with them too. Again, this is good to use for alcohol ink. So I'm putting those to the side because that was just a quick mention of that. Now, if you're doing watercolors, water-based markers, things like that, I like Versafine. And I really only buy Versafine. Like I said, I do have the finesse. It looks exactly the same. That's why I'm like, when I first bought it, I wanted alcohol-proof ink. And then I realized, oh, this is a water proof ink. And I don't even, it kind of kills me. I don't know where it is right now. But it says the same thing, finesse, and then it just says waterproof ink or waterproof dye. So just so you know, they do have one. But Versafine, I think it's kind of oily based, and I love the pad. I like the way this stuff works. It's nice and firm. This has been open probably, I'm not kidding, 10 years, and it still stamps just as well as the first day. I think I have a little stamp here I can pop on here, but Watch me say that and then it's, you know, dried out today. Oh no, look at that. I mean, it's juicy. Oh, and look how cute. And that's the other thing with Versafine. If you want something that has a lot of intricacy to it, in the, just like they show here, the little leaves, Versafine's a great ink for that because it really just gets in there. I love Versafine. It's not inexpensive, but you know, you can get it on sale and things or get a coupon on it and that'd be great too. So Versafine is my go-to for water-based things. Now let me put these back where they belong before I lose them because I like to keep those specialty inks where they need to be. So, Spectrum Noir. Basically, I'm going to focus on that because my questions are mostly how to use the different Spectrum Noir inks or Crafter's Companion inks. So what I did was I pulled my Harmony inks in the quick dry. So I have Pale Fig, Crushed Velvet, and Damson Wine because that's the same color family. This purple, I think they might have a different, or it's a little more berry toned, I don't remember, but these are their purples basically. So light, medium, and darkest. And then I also pulled the same ones in the water reactive dyes, which I've never really stamped with. And somebody asked me about this yesterday in the comments, and I only ever use these for background, so I don't know. Maybe we can try stamping with them just to see what it looks like. But again, water reactive. So I have Pale Fig, Crushed Velvet, and Damson Wine. So your question might be, if it's an ink and you don't use it to stamp with, what do you do with it? So this I mostly use for backgrounds. So whenever they've used these for backgrounds on the Crafter's Companion sites, they say to add a little glycerin. And they're like, oh, it's super cheap, you can get it at the pharmacist. It's not really something we get at the pharmacy out here. Like, I've never really seen it. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was $4 for this huge thing. And it was probably 50% off whenever their, you know, soap stuff was on sale. But it's just glycerin. That's all you want. Glycerin for soap, food grade, whatever, glycerin. I don't even know if it's food grade. This one says not edible, but they do have different types. But it says, you know, for body lotions, bar soap, it doesn't matter. Just glycerin, okay, is going to help you blend more. So I'm going to do it once without glycerin. I'm going to do it again with the glycerin so we can see the difference. And when they say it's blendable, is it really blendable, or do you need to have this other product to make it work? So to me, that's different, right? So we have quick dry for stamping. We have water reactive, and we have metallic. Well, okay. I don't really have their pigments. You guys know I bought the white pigment and it's horrible. I don't think it works very well. I don't have a lot to compare it to. I do have my Close to My Heart in an off-white, it's like creamy color. I forgot the name of it right now, but that works. Oh, vanilla. I'm looking at it right now. Vanilla cream. It works awesome. If you have something dark and you want to stamp white or like a beigey light color on it, that one is a really great pigment ink. And I remember with Close to My Heart doing really great pigment inks. So I have only the white one from Crafter's Companion that I think is horrible, so I'm not going to bring that out. But I do have their metallic ones, which are all pigment inks. So it's still the same kind of ink pad and everything, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So we'll try those out just so you have an idea. So those are the three types. They have pigment inks, the water reactive, the quick dry, and then they have, of course, their finesse ones, which are for like stamping, just so you know, your images, stuff like that. So let me cut this paper up. And I do have some tools here with me that hopefully will help me. I'm going to use a blending tool, things like that. But let me just cut this up into pieces. Well, maybe I'll turn that around. Maybe we'll leave that little smiley face there. I don't know. I just need a few pieces. And this stamping paper is nice and thick. They said it's good for alcohol inks too, which I have not tried yet, but I usually have the Nina paper that they sell, Solar White. They also have it on Crafter's Companion site for pretty inexpensive price whenever they have them on sale. So I always like their stock up sales. So I'm just cutting this up into some little pieces. Ooh. Okay, let's get this out of the way. So I just bought, oh, they have this thing on Crafter's Companion site right now called the Taste of Color or coloring bag. They wanted, I think, $40 for it. I'm trying to think because I think I paid $32. So yeah, they probably want $40 because I have 20% off. And I think that's a great deal because they have like every one of their lineup. I have a video pretty much trying out all their mediums, so you can check that out too, which is the color blend, aqua blend, you know, aqua tints, all these different markers, and most of their stamps, stamping stuff. So you might want to check that out. Okay, I think we're gonna start with the water reactive stuff because we can do the blending, and then we're gonna have to stamp with the other the quick dry, and then we'll try out the pigment. And I feel like I need to sneeze. Hold on. Of course, I felt it, it never came. Okay, so we're gonna open this up. Now, you should use one of these pads. This happens to be, I think, Tim Holtz, and this is a Spectrum Noir one. Whatever it is that you like to blend with, you know, use that. You should use the same, you know, little pad, or, you know, for each one, have your light purple, your medium purple, your dark purple, but I never stick to that, right? You guys know that. So I'm just gonna start, and I'm gonna have my pale fig here. And this is without anything. This is just dipping into it and then going for it and see what happens. So I'm just gonna get, there might be some deep purple on here from before, but again, kind of a light hand. I know I was watching Craig yesterday from Crafter's Companion. He says when he comes in, he kind of keeps it up at an angle a little bit, not so hard, right? So you're just pushing it down and definitely making like a mark. Like if I was to just push down, well, this one's a very light color, but you can see that harsh edge, right? So just kind of keeping it up at an angle. I think that's probably pretty good. I'm starting with the light. You can start with the dark, however you'd like to do your. So that's pale fig. Now let's move into crushed velvet, which is the next deepest color. And again, I am starting off on the little edge a little bit, but we have to bring it in because we got to go across this page. And still kind of rubbing it towards the pale fig color. And I'm kind of using the tip because I need to angle it in here without really just rubbing over the whole thing again. And that is crushed velvet. And let's go into damson wine. I'm going to use the other side for damson wine because I don't want it to contaminate too much, but I'm going to come in here. And I guess if you are using just the one for the color family, you probably want to start with the lightest color so you're not dipping in the dark and then putting that into your lighter color. And this is not like the best blend I've ever seen, I'll be honest. I've had problems with this before. I don't even know what that sound is. Oh, it's kind of pulling back. That's what it is. The end of the pad is being exposed there. As you can see, that, I mean, it's not that pretty. So, not very good. You know, I can keep working and it's not gonna get that much better. Okay, I've done this before and I know that's just how it goes. But let me clean up a little bit. Not that I really have to, I guess, right now, but let me clean this up. Oopsie. I wish I had something to dry it with, but I'll just use my hand. Let's put this to the side for a minute. I'll play with some water on that just so you can see about the water, how it reacts, but we'll leave that alone. So now I'm going to put out a little bit of glycerin. And you're supposed to use a tiny amount. Now this thing, oh, maybe I should pour it in here. I have an extra little bottle. Yeah, I wish I had something to pour with, but let's try to do this neatly. Because you're supposed to use the smallest amount, and this huge bottle obviously is hard to work with. Yay! Smells a little funky. Actually, maybe that's the baby wipe. Okay. So I'm just going to put down, I don't know, a very small amount, because supposedly you want to use very little. Now let me turn this paper over. Let's do that all again. I'm going to clean this off as much as I can. Okay, let's start with pale fig again. And what we're going to do, what they normally do is they kind of use the pad and lay it down like this. The pale fig is very hard to see because it's not the darkest color in the world. So I'm just going to get very little of this glycerin because that still looks like too much. I'm just going to get a little bit of that and rub it in. You can hear that squeaky sound. Rub it in there. Try to pick up my color. And, ooh, well that just glides across, doesn't it? That might be too much. It's really just kind of moving across the page. Crazy. Okay. Crushed velvet. Again, I'm going to dip right in. Just a very little bit of that, which I think I already put too much because it's just really, really, really sliding on here. And I'm going to come in off the page again. There's something wrong with this applicator. It's really just exposing its edge. Okay. Alright. Now damson wine. Again, I'm going to use the other side of this because I kind of rather use their circular pad, to be honest, this one. This is a little bit harder to use. And just get a little bit of that. And just really rub it in there. And I'm going to come in off the edge over here. Okay, so that is a much better blend. I feel like I put too much. I don't know. It just seems like it's really just sliding around more than I would think is what... I don't know. But let's look at the blend again. I guess it's like this. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't that look weird? The colors look totally different. Feels like this. That's not it either. Huh. Alright, well anyway, so that's how that turned out. And there's sprinkles in here. What's going on with that? There's some glitter in there. That must be me. Okay, so obviously it blends much better with a little of that glycerin there. Crushed velvet. Ooh, did I put these lids? Crushed velvet, okay. That's the water reactive inks. So let me just show you. I'm going to get a little spritzer bottle that I have here. Hopefully that's still working. Let's use this one since it's drying up. Well, no, that one's more dry. I'm just going to spray some water on this. This is not watercolor paper, so it's going to be... let's see if the water comes out. There it goes. Again, this is stamping paper. And I'm just going to leave it on there for a few seconds. Just let the water kind of... It's going to leach out some of the color, basically. And I'm going to come in and pick it up. You probably want to do it with a dry paper towel. I'm touching it with a wipey. But hopefully you can see that how that color is now coming out, and it makes kind of a cool background. You can do lots of different things. This is the one where you can put salt too. There's lots of different things you can use with this, or just kind of... Well, actually, those are more the inks, but anyway, really cool. You know, I guess it depends on the look you're going for. This one now looks really cool now that I've sprayed it. It didn't blend very well unless we used the glycerin, right? Let's see what this one looks like since we're here anyway. Maybe I sprayed it too much. Let's give it a few seconds. And the next one, I am going to try to blend the other ones for you just to show you how it doesn't really blend. And then we'll move on from there with the stamping inks. But look at that. It's because they dry really fast. So pretty cool. Okay. That's water reactive. So it's more for funsies to do fun things with. You know, let me try a stamp an image. Do I have something here I can stamp? Let me grab something. Okay, I'm probably gonna use this to stamp with the quick dry inks. So let me just open this up. It's a layered stamp set. And they're all gonna be purple, so it's not gonna be as pretty as this right here because it's gonna be all purples, but we'll try it out. Okay, so real quick, I don't think I should stamp on this because it's still wet. So I'll just stamp with Damson Wine. And I'll just pick one, I guess probably number 1 if it has numbers here. They should. Yeah, so this top one is number 1. And I am just going to actually ink up the stamp. I'm not even going to take it off of this backing paper. And then I'll lay this other paper on top. So this stuff is kind of already repelling off of this stamp. And these are polymer stamps. So it shouldn't really do this. Even the first time you're using it. So that's already a difference I can see. Let's see what we got. It's not horrible, but you can see all that kind of bubbling up, kind of repelling. Okay, and it's dry. I mean, it didn't take that long to dry. But it will react if it gets wet, which I don't see a card getting wet unless, I don't know what happened, but, you know, you can try it out. Maybe you can do some fun things. And I know they said spray it with that, so then maybe, like, if I was to spray it, I don't think it's the best thing to do, but, like, if you sprayed an image that you really, you know, want it to look more ethereal, as Sarah says, you can just spray it with the water, and then it's going to start reacting. And that's cute for, like, a butterfly or, like, a flower background or something that you want to just kind of blend out, but normally you don't want your stamps to do that, right? So there's that. Okay. Oop. It's okay, not the greatest. Now we're gonna do our quick dry. So quick dry is really for stamping, just stamping, whatever you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and obviously do a layered image. Let me kind of clean this off just in case, because I did use a dark color on that. So I'm still gonna stamp on this little piece of paper, even though obviously what I have here is bigger than this. And then we'll do the blending just so you can kind of see that it doesn't really blend. Because the point of the quick dry is as soon as it touches your paper, it dries. So there is no blending time on that one. I'm trying to see what I want to do as far as stamping this and with what. I don't really want to, you know what, I'll probably just use my board. Again, it's just the Gemini cutting plate. Hopefully I can see through it enough to layer this up without making too many mistakes. All right, number one. Should number one be the darkest? Let me look at the picture of this again. What do I do with the packaging? All right, did I just get rid of it? Okay, it was literally right next to me. Okay, so number one looks like it's this larger, so this pink, whatever's pink on here. That's tough. I guess it doesn't really matter what you want to do. I also do the lighter colors on that one. And then darker and darker, I guess. So, Pale Fig. And this one is really gripping. I don't know if you can see, like, which reminds me, we're going to talk about what they're made out of. So I'll do that in just a second. If I would tape this down, I would tape this down, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to eyeball this and kind of try to remember where I was. Oop, there we go. I already had a little movement there. Okay, there's number one. Again, this is still kind of pilly itself. Can you see that? It has like, it's not smooth. And this is their stamping card, so it should be smooth. So it's kind of bothersome. Let me clean this off. Let me go back for 1 second. I'm going to remove number one here. Put it back on its carrier, because otherwise I'll have to match them up later. Let me go back 2 seconds. Quick dry ink. Do you see how the pad is smooth on top? It's smooth and it's spongy. Hopefully you can see on the side, but it has a very nice smooth top. And it is very spongy. So that's kind of why you can push down really well and it really gets into every nook and cranny. Water reactive dye has more of that, kind of like the Versafine, where it, I don't know, it's hard. It's more like a fabric. It's like a piece of fabric. Do you hear that? Very stiff, really pretty, holds a lot of ink. Really nice. And then your metallic pigment is that complete sponge, like from back in the day, the cheapest, I would call it cheap because that's how they used to look back in the day, the very spongy, lots of holes, but that's super porous, but that way you can get all those pigments because they're bigger, right? They're bigger particles, so they have to get in there and do their thing. So there's that. Okay, so that's the difference with the materials. Okay, number two, and I guess I should have shown you, this stuff dries immediately. I think we've talked about that before though. So let's try number two, the second layer. These are really stuck down here. Okay, hopefully I don't forget that I just dropped number three and where it went. This part doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna lay this on here. Okay, so we did quick dry Pale Fig. Now we need quick dry crushed velvet. Again, that smooth top, super spongy. Look how much, if you press it, I mean, it just goes right to the whole thing. I don't know if you see that, how quickly it just envelops your stamp. And this might be hard for me to see. So this layering might not work out that great, guys. Oh, this is so bad. And I might have even turned it around, didn't I? Yep. Let me see. Ooh, this is not gonna be good. Okay. Well, how about like right here? Oh, yeah, I'm way off. Way off. Let's not even care about the layering, okay? What we're looking at right now is to see how, something was on, but something was off, I don't know, but you see, dry immediately. Like, how did I line that up but didn't line this up? I don't know. So, dry immediately. I'm not even going to go through the third layer, to be honest, because I'm just trying to show you guys that they dry really fast. Really great. This one's stamped much better, though. Do you see that? It's not as, kind of that little bubbly effect it has there. Or texture effect. Okay. I'm not going to do the third layer. Let's not embarrass ourselves today. I need to wash this. Look at this. It's completely stained now in one fell swoop there. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side. Get that cleaned up. So let's do a little blending. I know this isn't going to work. So just to let you know from the get-go here. Let's do quick dry. Obviously we're using quick dry. Let's start with the Pale Fig again. Very light. I do still have some juice on this, so maybe that's gonna be helping us, right? A little bit of that glycerin. And now I'm gonna go right into the crushed velvet, and maybe I should be doing this faster, right? Because I'm giving it time to dry. Okay, not too bad. And then now the damson wine. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera, I know I am. It's not the best. I'm gonna go around the edges just so you can see if you can at least use it for maybe inking around the edges. I guess you could use it for inking. This is much more pigmented. It's pretty. It just doesn't blend as well, as you can see that. I mean, the blend isn't that great. And I don't know if it's gonna get better if I keep trying. I doubt it. So here are the other ones, and you see how much lighter these are in color. And look at the color on this. Exact same colors. So, let me give it a little squirt with the water and see if, you know, that even, oopsie. Well, great job, Vianney. What is this? Crushed velvet. Damson wine. Go over there. Crushed velvet. Alright, let me get my little... Ooh, this stuff, it is really, I want to say pigmented, but I don't want to confuse you guys with pigment ink, but obviously it has a lot of dye in there. I'll squirt it with the water, like I said, and see if anything happens, but I don't think anything will happen. It might. I mean, it doesn't say it's resistant to water, right? Let's see. Oh, it's picking up. So it's just a different look. I do like the text, the intensity of it is really pretty. So there's that guy. Not bad. Okay, let's put this to the side. And last thing, pigment ink. Just real quick, I'll just stamp something. Why do I keep not having a stamp that I would like to stamp? Something that's like a singular image is what I want. You know I have tons of stamps, so I'm just like, what is this? Oh, those are layering stamps. Let me grab one more stamp. I'm cleaning and cleaning this, and look at that. It is very pigmented, those quick dry. Okay. I'm just going to use this. It's a Sheena stamp that has, you're supposed to cut it up, right, so you can use it, but I'm just going to use the whole thing. Just slap it down here. It's just something that came in that Sheena grab bag. So again, I have metallic ones. I have the gold and bronze, all these different colors. This is silver, same stuff as the pigment inks that they put out recently. So I'm going to push this down on here, and you have to push it really hard. I don't know, it's just not really, now I can see it's picking up, but at the beginning it was not picking up so well. And these are rubber stamps, so that might make it a little difference, but I'm pretty sure with the acrylic stamps I never had a problem with inking up, especially with the pigment ink, because they kind of want to grab. I'm going to use the back of this paper. I'm going to lay it on here because I did not use any kind of adhesive to put that on a block. I even have the stuff that makes, what's that stuff? Is it easy? What was it called? Easy something. You're supposed to stick it on the back of your stamps and then cut it out all together. So I'm just really rubbing the back of that so we can get a good impression. And that's really good. I mean, that's really nice. So Leanne, when she was putting these out there saying, you know, obviously they have these new pigment inks. She was talking about how they don't get all, what's the word? Kind of like thick around the edges, like they still stamp even fine things really nicely. And I would agree with that. I mean, this looks really great. I could do a better job, obviously, because I just put it on here. But, I mean, even look at the feather there. But these take forever to dry. And they do blend for that same reason. You have a long time to dry. They blend really nicely. I'm not going to get that stuff all over my ink pads. But, well, I don't care. This one's getting kind of old anyway. Ooh, let's dip in there. I'll just put it out here for you. So you can blend these one into the other, no problem. Hopefully the purple isn't distracting you, but the silver is there, and they blend really nice. They take a long time to dry, so look, I can just rub my hand on this and it gets silver, and I've been talking about it for a minute, right? So that's a bummer. So what they're saying is that that's a bonus. What you're going to do is put your clear embossing powder on that, and now you don't have to have tons of embossing powders of different colors because your ink is the color and then your embossing powder is clear and it brings out the color, right? So that's up to you if you think that's a bonus or not. It does take a long time, even with the close to my heart pigment inks like the one I mentioned earlier. I remember it takes a really long time. Like I'll be ready to put the thing in an envelope and it's still wet. So, you know, it's something to think about if you're not going to seal it with embossing powder. Just know that it's going to take a very, very, very long time to dry. But I hope that helped you guys out. Again, if you're going to be using alcohol ink markers, of course you want alcohol-proof inks. And Versafine is great for watercolor, water marker, or water-based markers, things like that. And you saw the blendability of some of these things and what you think might work best for you. I know most of the time people want stamping inks, and that's great. It seems like the water reactive stamps okay too, so maybe that's the best of both worlds, right? You have the blendability, but you also have some stamping ability, but really the quick dry is the way to go for just plain stamping. And so thanks for watching, guys. And if you have any questions, if I know the answer to, or maybe leave it there, because I know people sometimes read the comments and they'll know the answer to it. Go ahead and do that. Leave them there. And again, thank you guys so much for always being so awesome. And hopefully I'm not forgetting anything else right now. I think that's it. I think that's the gamut of what they have as far as Crafter's Companion especially. And I promise I don't own any stock in their company. That'd be nice, but I don't. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.